Hi guys and gals, animal friends and spirit pals. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for coming. This video is going to be the first one in a part of my channel that I'm calling Story Time. And it's where I can share some of my adventures with animals and with spirit with you guys or with anybody who'd like to hear it. If you like these stories, please let me know by pushing the like button. That way I'll know if you want me to share some more with you. Today's story is an animal tale, and I'm going to name it Finding My Porpoise. Got another little dolphin lamp over here for our dolphin story today. Once upon a time, many years ago, in a decade we like to call the 80s, when I was much younger and much cuter and full of energy and vim. This was a time when I had prayed to God, the Creator, the universe, to show me how to figure out this whole channeling thing, and also help me understand my connection to the animal kingdom, both. And after this prayer about helping me learn about channels and channelings, the universe sent me over a 2-week period about 7 different channels for me to meet and interact with and learn from. One of those was this lovely man from England. His name was Neville Rowe. As far as I understand, he's passed now. He was really a terrific person. He channeled, what he said was dolphin energy. And he also channeled space aliens, or so he said. He was also a really good hypnotherapist and past life regressionist. He did that as well. Anyway, he did a reading and a session for me in which the dolphins told me that if I ever wanted to meet them out in the wild, I just had to make an appointment. And this sounded like, okay, well, it's just that easy. You know, it sounded a little unbelievable. But still, I thought, well, I'll try it. So, after that session, I went home and I went into meditation, and I asked Spirit and the universe and the dolphins if we can make an appointment where I could see them in the wild. And it seemed like they came through and said, yeah, we will. And I said, okay, I'm coming to the beach tomorrow, and maybe we can see each other then. And they said, okay, as long as it's safe for everyone. That was always like a rule. It would happen as long as everybody involved was safe, including the animals and me. So I got up the next morning. I was all excited. Oh boy, I'm going to go make my appointment with the dolphins. And it was pouring rain. And in Southern California, this doesn't really ever hardly happen. So it was in the middle of summer. It was pretty unusual, and it was a horrible day to go to the beach. So I was like, oh no, so much for my appointment, and I didn't go. And I just kind of forgot all about that, weirdly. I was young and spacey too in those days. So the next day I got up and it wasn't raining, and I decided to go to the beach. I'd kind of forgotten all about that appointment thing with the dolphins. And I drove off to Santa Monica. I was living in West Hollywood in Los Angeles at that time. And, it was a bit of a trip to the beach. And I drove out there, and I went to a beach I usually went to, which was called Will Rogers State Beach. And I usually parked on a little off street that was up the hill and then walked down to the beach. So I got there and parked my car, and when I got out and getting my towel and everything, my stuff for the beach, this my head got really heavy, and my eyes closed, kind of uncontrollably, and a really strong pressure came like right in the center of my forehead, almost like somebody was pushing it, and I never really had that experience before. And this voice came through and said, we're here to meet you. And I'm going, what? And it said, the Dolphins, we're here to meet you. And then I went, oh, that Dolphin Appointment. And this is weird. Is this really happening? It seemed very like, this can't be happening, really. And I never really had that really strong, pressure in my head and such a loud, clear voice. And it almost seemed like a group rather than an individual, and they said, we're here. So I was a little excited and kind of nervous and everything. And then I, locked up my car and I walked down to the beach, and it was horribly overcast at the beach and freezing cold. Inland in West Hollywood, it was nice and sunny, summer day. But once you got down to the beach, the weather was not that, and it was really overcast and dark. Not really a good beach day, pretty cold. But I went ahead and walked out pretty far on the beach. There wasn't hardly anybody at the beach that day, just a very few, maybe I could see 10 maybe people up and down the beach, from me. And it was going to be a quiet, cold day at the beach. I was putting my towel out, and then that pressure came to my head again. My eyes closed, the same exact thing. And they go, we're here. And I looked out, and I could see dolphins in the ocean, right in front of me. I'd never really seen dolphins before in the ocean here at this beach, ever. Usually, though, the beach was pretty crowded here, but I'd never ever seen any before here. And they were pretty exciting. It was quite a few. They were kind of jumping and playing. And they said, we're going to swim up the coast, but we'll be back. And I said, well, how will I know when you're here? I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to, how would I know when they came back? And I was going to miss them or something. Was I just supposed to sit there and stare at the ocean in case they showed up sometime? I don't know. How does this work? And the voice came through and said, don't worry, you'll know when we're here. Just go about your business. We'll let you know. And then I saw them. They went swimming up. Actually, it was down the coast at that point. So I spread out my towel and got all laid out. I was still really tingly and a lot of energy. And I brought a metaphysical book to read with me. It was a book on channeling, actually. And so I just thought, well, I'll just read my book. I don't know what to do. I don't know when they're coming or if they're coming, if this is even real, what the heck. And so I started reading my book. And I was reading probably about 20 minutes, maybe. And then that same thing happened again where I got real heavy-headed, huge pressure in my forehead, and my eyes closed again. And they go, we're here. And I looked out, and there they were again. It looked like, as best I could tell, about 7. And, a couple of them were jumping. It was really exciting. They were out, not really far, maybe a swimming pool's length, or a pool and a half out, not super far out, Didn't seem like the people that were on the beach, way up and way down, didn't seem to notice them. There was a couple behind me that all of a sudden shouted out, sharks! And I was going, well, those aren't sharks. And then I heard them say, oh, that's dolphins. And then the other person said, oh, you know what? I heard that dolphins are just as dangerous as sharks, and they'll kill you if you get in the water with them. You know, and I'm going, really? I don't hear these people at all, that all of a sudden that's what they say really loud. You know, I couldn't even really hear them as long as the wind was blowing. It had to like shift or stop blowing, and then sometimes I could hear them talking or something like that. But this was loud and clear. I know it was sort of like fears of mine kind of being manifested through their voices or something. It was pretty weird. And the dolphins said, we're swimming up the beach, but we'll be back again if you want to come in the water. And, you know, I thought, wow, you know, this is amazing, and I just don't know what to do or think. You know, this was years before I ever worked at the zoo, years before I even thought about that. And I didn't really know, you know, has this ever happened to anybody? You know, well, this is so bizarre. And so I just, also, it was freezing cold, and I was thinking, how am I ever going to go in the water? It's so cold, and there's no sun, dark, cloudy, freezing. And I'm thinking, I don't know. You know, and the ocean on that side of the world, on the Pacific, isn't as like swimmer friendly, or in some areas, as it can be, you know, in Florida and things like that. I used to love to swim in Florida, but, you know, you could go really far and the water only came up to your waist. Here's a lot more rocky and seaweedy and kind of spooky, dark, freezing. And so I was trying to think, gosh, how am I going to do that? I don't know. It just seems like a lot. Plus, I wasn't really expecting so many dolphins. It's like a lot of them. I don't know. It seemed like kind of overwhelming. And I was sort of going through all of that in my mind. And I went back to reading my book, and then suddenly, for the third time, just like the other two, got the heavy head, the old pound, you know, pressure in my forehead, and we're here, and you can come in with us. And there they all were, the whole group again. It seemed like 7. That's as best as I could tell. And they weren't really jumping. They were just facing the beach. It was very weird. And, you know, again, I'm going, oh my God, it's so cold. If only the sun would come out or the wind would stop blowing, you know, to give me more nerve to get in the water. And then right in that moment, the wind stopped blowing. And I'm like, what the? And the sun came out of the clouds. And then those people behind me scream at the top of their voices, oh my God, it's a miracle. The sun is out. They were kind of like narrating my adventure for me from behind. And I'm like going, what the F is happening? You know, it's like the sun and the wind just answered my thoughts in the moment so that I would go swimming with the big group of dolphins. So I get up and I go down to the you know, edge of the water. I'm looking out, and there they all are, and I just say, oh, there's too many of you. I'm so nervous about there being so many of you. And they said, that's okay. And then 5 dolphins turned and swam out farther away. 2 came a little closer in. Seems unbelievable. And I'm like, just kind of shaking in the sand there thinking, oh my God, what is going on? This is otherworldly or like magic or something. What's happening? And I take some more steps in the water. I go in up to my knees, and I'm just standing there thinking, I need to go in with them. And suddenly I hear some people go, dolphins, and start getting up. And the other dolphins start moving out. And I go, oh no, I waited too late. And they go, no, if you come in now, we'll still come to you. What would you have done then? What was I supposed to do? I'm telling you, it was a very bizarre, you know, and I'm all by myself. Of course, I didn't have anybody with me. Of course not. I think it's the only time in my life I ever went to the beach by myself. And And here were these two dolphins waiting for me to come in and swim with them. What was I supposed to do? Well, there's a little bit more to that story, and I'm going to let you think about it for a minute, and I'll tell you the rest of that story on another video. If you guys like this story and you want to know some more about it and how it ended, and maybe you want to talk about what you would have done in this situation, or have you had a situation like this, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know. Click that like button so I know you want to hear more of my stories and tales from the animal kingdom and from the spiritual kingdom. And I'd be happy and love to share some more with you. Okay, guys, really thankful for you tuning in and listening to me and sharing my magical tale with you today. And I hope you have a wonderful and magical day on your own. Until next time.